Right, first things first, late fitness test today for Max Kilman. That's great news. Really, really good news on that. Well, obviously we don't know if he's going to be playing yet, but if there's a fitness test for today, then it probably means that we don't have to worry about him long term, which is a really good thing. And actually plays into what the club said yesterday, which was they don't have any plans to buy a central defender in the January transfer window. So again, that probably speaks volumes as to what his long-term fitness is going to be. The club aren't thinking of buying a new centre-back, then they obviously expect Kilman back immediately. And do you know what? It's really important when you sign these players. I think West Ham are really bad at this. When you go and sign a player, sign them and look at their injury record. Because Kilman plays a lot of games. I can't remember, they flashed up some stat when I was watching a game relatively recently, and he played loads of games, most consecutive minutes for West Ham since he signed, and had a similar stat when he was at Wolves as well. So I think that's really important. We are really bad at this stuff, at buying players who break down, but sometimes I think we do an awful lot. You can go and, used to say this about David Moyes, he would do this stuff, this Moyes MOT, and he would look at players' characters, and then obviously you scout them for fitness and you scout them for skill and that. Scouting for injuries got to be a big thing, because, if a player's got a lot of years behind him as being reliable and not missing many games, got to account for something. Some people just bounce back from injury quicker than others, don't they? Before I go any further and talk about today's game against Liverpool, don't forget to get your match bingo cards in. If you're wondering what match bingo is, where have you been? You've not been watching Hammers Chat, surely, because we've had well over 130 winners now on match bingo. That's you guys who watch these videos, basically play this game and you win. It's 18 and above. It is a gambling app, but it's not a high stake gambling app. It's only £2 per play. It's a bingo card, but rather than having numbers on it, it's got football stuff, throw-ins, goal kicks, and you basically cross, every time something happens, you cross something off. First person to get the first line wins some money. Second line, first person wins some money. Full house, first person to win that wins some money. And there's a bonus pot as well. Go and check it. If you've already downloaded it, go and check your accounts now. You may well be surprised and find you've got some money in there. The other thing as well, if you are going to deposit for the first time, well, any time, second time, third time, don't matter. Deposit £10, they'll give you £20 worth of credit, so you get a free tenner. Links in the description below. Match bingo. We'll make it interesting. You'll be really unlucky if you get West Ham to score 5 goals or something like that. West Ham to keep a clean sheet. You don't want that one today against Liverpool. So Kilman back. I didn't do the preview with Gio, and obviously we would normally have a certain way of doing it, a certain rhythm. But I spoke about Liverpool yesterday in yesterday's video, so I'm not going to speak about them only in passing when we're talking about West Ham players. We'll talk about West Ham today. I'll give you my prediction as well at the end if you want to know it. We had a later kick-off today, aren't we? 5:15 or something like that. Look, this is tough. Areola's going to be starting in goal, obviously. At the point of recording this, I certainly haven't been privy to any updates. Haven't seen any updates anywhere on Lukasz Fabianski. Hope he's all right. Obviously, we all hope he's all right. Even if he is all right, and I hope he is, secondary impact syndrome protocols mean that he wouldn't be able to play on this one anyway. So you can't. If you get a concussion, it's very important you don't get a secondary knock to the head. Which they're really hot on this stuff now. Obviously, they were really bad at it for years and years and years. They're really hot on this stuff now. So they'll take good care of him. It means Areola will be in goal. We've relied a lot on Fabianski. I think it's weird to say that Areola might have to prove himself, but he sort of does, doesn't he? Right back for this one. I would play. It's always going to be tough. I think we've got one outstanding fullback, and it's Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and then it's a case of what else you want to do after that. I'd probably go with Soufal, and because I'd play him on the right. Now, don't get me wrong, that is not going to be good because he's probably going to be up against Diaz, isn't he? But. And the only reason I say that is I don't know that much about Liverpool. I think Gakpo played in the last game, which means probably Diaz will start in this one. I think I would rather see Diaz against Soufal than I would like to see Mo Salah against Emerson, if that makes any sense at all. I still think Mo Salah can do a number on Wan-Bissaka, but Wan-Bissaka will do better defensively than Emerson. I'm quite certain of that. Centre-backs, well, depends on what I said at the start of the video. Depends on the Kilman stuff, really, doesn't it? So, but I would go to deep. If I think he will be past, as I do, I think he'll be past fit, Kilman. I would go Todibo and Kilman. Todibo deserved that for his second half performance. I thought it was very, very good. It wasn't second half performance, actually, to be fair, was it? Kilman got injured after 15 minutes. So, I mean, he played, given the injury time, he played more or less a full game. He must have played minutes on the pitch. I'd love to see how many minutes he played Todibo. I bet it was high 80 minutes, because, was it 10 minutes? 10 minutes because of Fabianski's concussion and the Kilman stuff. That was just in the first half. Yeah, I mean, he did really, didn't he? I think there was 6 or 7 minutes in the second half. Anyway, I digress. So, yeah, that would be my back four. Midfield's tough for us today. But sometimes a lack of choice forces a decision upon you. And I think that's what we've got today. So, same for Liverpool. I think Gravenberch will probably start because Szoboszlai is suspended, but he's not the only one that's suspended, because Rodriguez and Souček are as well. Look, Rodriguez being suspended has done us a favour. I don't think he was lucky not to get sent off, but he could have been. He did go in 2-footed and he thought twice about it. So you sort of get it, but he's just too slow for a game like this. There's one thing I don't want to see. It's Liverpool buzzing around Rodriguez and him trying to keep up with them. So I think that suspension's probably done us a favour. Means that Alvarez will definitely start. Obviously, Paqueta will definitely start. It's just really what happens with Carlos Soler, because Soler's got a knee injury, apparently. If Soler is out, then we're missing Rodriguez, we're missing Souček, we're missing Soler. This is really important here, right? Clearly he's got to do something. He's not going to play 4-4-2, is he? Let's be honest. He would have to play Irving. Now, I personally, and I've said this for a couple of games now, give Orford a chance. Give him a chance now. I don't think he will. If he's not going to do that, then put Irving in there. Why not? Just give it a go. At least he's young. He's got some legs. He can get about. Do you know what I mean? It could be pretty embarrassing in midfield. I think, as I mentioned a couple of days ago, I think our problems remain in terms of teams being able to get in behind our defence. Our problems in midfield remain, and our problems in attack remain. I think it would have to be that for me. If Soler's out, you'd just have to go Alvarez, Irving, and Paqueta. What else can you do if Rodriguez, Soler, and Souček are out? The front three, I guess it just depends on what he wants to do with Füllkrug, really, because he's come back from injury. Obviously, we only played on Boxing Day, so is it much of a rest for someone coming back from injury? No. That being said, didn't play the full game, did he? Looked better. He looked better. I'm not going to say good. I think for me, he did three good things during the game, but like impactful things. But I do think they made a difference. I do, and I think it's not his fault that Soler hit the bar. I thought it was a good dummy, really good dummy. And as I mentioned on another video, the commentator said, I'm not sure if he meant the flick onto Bowen. He absolutely did. He meant that. 100% he meant that. There's enough cutting edge there from him to give him a start, I think. I can't really see what else there is to do. I mean, I could sit here. Obviously, when I'm doing it with Gio, what team would we like to see? I'm just trying to be a little bit pragmatic here, maybe. It's pointless. I'm just, going to waste 60 seconds of my time and your time if I try and make a case for Mohamed Kudus starting as a striker in this one. It won't happen. So it's pointless talking about it. So I'd actually start Bowen on the right and I'd start Somerville on the left. But it all depends on what he's going to do. There is no chemistry between Emerson and Kudus. There's just no point in having that down the left-hand side. And it's like at the start of the season, the balance to our team was so out. If you'd have looked at the data and you look at any of those statistics and they show areas of West Ham attack, if you could even call that at the start of the season, it was so right-hand heavy, unbelievable. And I just don't like that as a combination at all. So for that, I'd probably do that. I would quite like to see a start actually for Crescencio Somerville as well. He does look sharp. He does look good. Alexander-Arnold can or can vacate that position, does vacate that position. So why not, give it a go? I mean, to be fair, Gomez will probably play that and come over and cover well. I think he's been very, very good. I don't know. We'll say the old saying, the famous old saying, if you don't, we're probably rearranging the chairs on the Titanic here by me saying what I think should be the West Ham team. I think there's very, very little we can do about it at all. I think what it would need for this game, it would need Lopetegui to come up with a tactical plan. And I see no evidence that he would be able to come up with a tactical plan to outwit Arne Slot. And forget Arne Slot, just a tactical plan that you would think, well, he's going to change this up. And it's fine, you know what? I mean, I guess I can't complain in that respect. It's Liverpool. They are swashbuckling. They are brilliant. And there's been other times in other years when, when we've taken pastings off teams, as I mentioned in yesterday's video. But I think it feels a little bit different now. I've got a pre-COVID feeling, if you want. So there's a feeling I've probably not had since 2019, 2018. Which we used to go before the Man City games and know we were getting a pummeling. And I think there's two reasons for that. It's not that Liverpool now are better than Man City were. It's we've dropped down. Moyes was superb through COVID. Absolutely superb. Talk about right manager at the right time. That was it right then. But it's not the same West Ham now. I don't just mean because David Moyes left. I don't mean it was the same West Ham last season. And I think we've done well to beat teams that we should have beaten. In terms of obviously Wolves and obviously Ipswich earlier on, but Wolves, Southampton, and maybe got draws against a couple of teams that we hadn't done. But he needs a biggie. He needs a biggie here. He needs a big victory over somebody unexpected, rather than just beating Southampton or whatever. And I just think we've offered up so many opportunities to the opposition. It's going to be very, very hard to suddenly become that team that doesn't give the opposition a sniff. I'm not sure how we can't stop Southampton getting a sniff, or any of them. Leicester, any of the teams we play, they get loads of shots. I don't know if anyone will do this statistic, but I do wonder if West Ham get shot at more than other teams. Because it does seem like that. The Bournemouth game was, of course, Bournemouth had more shots than they've ever had in a Premier League game. Even Wolves, they were crap. 19 shots against us. Brighton were not great, had loads of shots against us. We've just seen Southampton outshot us as well. There's a different word for that. There's a different term for that, isn't there? I think we give up a lot of chances. And there's no surprise there, I guess, that last season we conceded our record over number of goals in the Premier League, didn't we? That was last season. That's one of the reasons we really need Kilman back for this one. It's very, very important that he comes back because, I mean, it's probably going to be bad enough with him in the team, but without him, I didn't mind Todibo and Mavropanos' partnership against Southampton. I mean, for all his height and a decent hold-up play, Onuachu is not a clinical striker, is he? So, we could do with something. We could do with something in one of these games. I think, I was going to say, is there an expectation for us to beat Manchester City? I don't think there is. Anyway, there you go. You can join myself and Gio an hour and 5 minutes before kick-off. You already know what Talking Shat, what Shat GPT thinks, because she had her say yesterday in yesterday's video. And I guess I'll see you an hour and 5 minutes before kick-off. It's going to be a bit of a sense of dread for this one, but I'm not expecting anything. So therefore, let me give you my prediction before I love you and leave you. I think it might be 4-0. And I know Arsenal, put more past us and so on and so forth, but as I mentioned yesterday, Liverpool don't need to. They just don't need to. They've got such big games coming up. They've got really important things that they can get a lead and start making substitutions. And that's what I think they'll do. So I know there's some people saying, they can put 7, 8, 9 past us. I think they could, but I'm not sure they remain motivated for the whole game to do that. He's a wily old fox Arne Slot, and I think he'll do what's needed, and then start resting players and not asking them to do too much. I think Trent Alexander-Arnold could be an absolute nightmare. I think if they start getting into the lead, he'll substitute him, and I just think that's the type of thing we'll see. I was going to say 3-1, but I'm not sure I can see us scoring the one, actually. I think we might be so pinned back for such a long period of time that I'm not sure. I think they'll be attacking us so much we won't have that much opportunity to attack. So, yeah, a bit pessimistic, isn't it, really? But it could be one of those. Could be one of those games. Anything else? I mean, I'll be cock a hoop. Honestly, I will. I'll be absolutely delighted if West Ham could somehow win this. I'd be amazed. But we used to. To be fair to David Moyes, it was away games against like the big four, top six, whatever. He never went for it there. It was always a case of we'd get a loss, basically, wouldn't we? A horrendous away record, didn't they? Over not just with us, but over Everton and everywhere. He's got a horrendous record away to the top teams. But at home, we beat them, didn't we? I was there, one of them. We beat them, beat Liverpool. But even with Moyes in charge, I still, you had some hope, didn't you? I don't think I've even got that here, so I just can't see it. I just can't see it. It could surprise me. There's these new tactics but we need heroics, hitting the post and goalkeeping heroics and central defender heroics, and that we need them to be crap, and we need to be lucky, and we need to be brilliant. Yes, that's those three things. Lucky, we've got to be lucky, we've got to be brilliant, and they've got to be crap. I just don't see it. So, yeah, I think I will go with 4-0 on this one. Would I say that? No, I never would. I'd never take that. Someone offered it to me because it's a game of football. Anything can happen, right? I get food poisoning or anything. But, there you go. Anyway, I'll catch up with you an hour and 5 minutes before kick-off.